Good day, Cebu. It's open mic night tonight. Actually, we're taping during the day and we're live streaming now on www.livestream.com/mytv30, so you can stay tuned live. And then we also air on Friday. Today, if it's Friday, it's already tonight. That's at our usual platform, which is MyTV Channel 30 on Sky Cable. Tonight, we have a very special guest. Hashtag ipasok si Dick. Senator and future Senator Dick Gordon.
Thank you
Senator
very much.
Gordon, welcome to the
By
show.
the way, I did not say ipasok si Dick. Everybody's begging for it.
Everybody wants some action. Everybody wants some action in the Senate.
No. It was done by some young people, and everybody enjoyed it.
I joined in the fray. I
that's
joined
good.
in the posting of that hashtag. But unfortunately, you were number 13, no?
Right, but unfortunately, I was the author of the automated election law, and I was victimized by it myself.
Ironic, no?
Right,
That's
right.
the irony of it.
That's why I went to the Supreme Court recently, and we won 13-0.
On the verification.
And the
receipt.
Solicitor General beat the chairman of the Comelec, and we won. And we're not even finished with them yet because they're not really implementing the law.
The law which you
Yes.
were author of. And it's ironic because the first two, the last two, the first two and the last two, which is the same, elections, automated elections in 2010 and 2013, you participated in.
And you know, the 2010, 2013 were illegal elections as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
They never showed the source code. When you have an automated election law, remember in the old days, people voted and you could see the votes being counted by the teachers and by your watchers and inspectors. But when you changed that in 1997, I was not the original author, I authored it in 2007, you now had to trust the machine. To be able to trust the machine, you can no longer see how the vote is counted. You have to have safeguards. And the safeguards include the source code. And what is the source code? Your computer, your cell phone has a source code. It is the design upon which the machine is trained to react to a certain stimuli from you.
Yes.
If I want the phone number of Mike, I put Mike and it comes out. I have to be specific. Now, if the machine says, oh, okay, Mike and John are running for president of the student council, every time you see Mike, okay, count his vote. If he gets 10 votes, make sure he only gets 3 and put the 7 to John. That's how it can be programmed. Or for that matter, they never had that source code. They never had it inspected because they never had it. In the first year, they said they never had time. In 2013, they said, well, we never had the source code because the source code was supplied by a company called Dominion in Delaware, and they had a suit between Smartmatic and Delaware.
Okay.
The Delaware company, refused to provide the source code because they had not been paid, I think, by Smartmatic.
So, not having the source code, how much of a...
Big question mark. 60-30-10. You know, it's impossible. I was just talking to Bobet Avila and he was showing me the 60-30-10 and I understood it a little better. Because if you're running, you know, there'll be a pattern. You could be strong in your area and you could be number 8 or number 2, depending. But you cannot be 60-30-10 all the way.
That's true.
That's statistically improbable. So the machines are probably programmed.
It was very interesting. Of course, mine is just purely observation. I mean, I didn't really conduct any scientific. There was no scientific process.
Experiments,
But
yeah.
we were going around Cebu in 2013, and it was interesting because the opposition in areas where which we can consider to be their bailiwicks, they would have like sort of a cap. They couldn't go past that.
That's right.
And then, well, the admin, they were okay everywhere else.
Yeah.
So that was very strange.
That's right. And so you see, when the machine is used for foolishness, it can easily generate the kind of foolishness. And that's the first thing they didn't do. The second thing they didn't do is that you're supposed to have electronic signatures. Under the electronic law, commerce law, e-commerce law, you can have electronic signatures. And the 3 inspectors or the 3 teachers, if you like, must sign the electronic signatures
Yes.
for the vote to be canvassed. Ang ginawa ng Comelec, sabi ng Comelec, when you see this in their instructions, do you want to sign the electronic signatures. They want to activate the PIN code. And they provide the answer. The answer is yes. Please answer yes. And then the second question, they say, are you sure you really want not to activate the silicon? And then they answer, press yes or no. And you know, the poor teacher just followed them.
Yeah.
So how could they canvass something? And then when they went to the Supreme Court, and other people went to the Supreme Court, questioned it, they said, oh, they lied to the Supreme Court. They said the machine has the electronic number, you know? And but the law says electronic signatures of the three, because you have to have a person behind the electronic signature. You cannot sue the machine.
Correct.
And so they have not implemented that up to now. And then the final one, the other one, I'm going to go to the hard one, voter verified paper audit trail. What is that?
This is the receipt.
The machine will tally you, and you put your vote there, and you trust the machine to count that vote. You shade it.
That's true.
Now, they have to have a receipt. The second election, they lied again to the Supreme Court. They said, don't worry about that, sir, because we have an electronic screen.
Yeah.
It will show the tally. When they did that, what did the machine show? Thank you very much. You just cast your vote. Your vote is being counted. But no showing of who you voted for, and no paper trail. Finally, again, they were gonna do that again. And I said, no. She put their foot down. We went to the Supreme Court. You have to have a voter verified paper audit trail, so that you will know when you put those shaded votes, a paper, and they showed it. They themselves showed it. A machine produced paper, and it showed the names, not the shade.
The names.
The names
of the people you voted for, so that you know that it read it correctly.
Correct. And they say now that there will be shown on the screen. I don't know whether they're going to do that, but they claim they'll do that. But that was enough. And I said, no, that's not enough. So you have to come out with the paper. This time, after we won, they said, oh, we don't have time to produce the name of the precinct, the number of the precinct, etc., etc. So when you go to your IT, when you go to your automatic teller machine, you know, you get a receipt, right? And it shows the time and the amount of money you withdrew, right? You read the MRT, it shows the station, it shows the date that you did.
That's right.
Here, they're not going to show it. So, what are we going to do, folks? You should write your name on the receipt.
Okay, that's the next best thing.
That's the next best thing. And if you like, you can push your precinct.
But I'm curious, Senator Gordon. Aren't you apprehensive and anxious that you are participating in your third automated election, and yet these issues have not yet been resolved by the COMELEC? Wouldn't it have been better if you participated when all of these have been addressed?
Well, we're not in control of things, and you're dealing with people who feel that they have the right to impunity. So that's what you're.
So you just have to.
So
it's
we
like
have
a
to
leap
really
of
guard
faith
the
on your part.
elections. Everything. Elections are leaps of faith.
Yeah.
You know, even in the old days, you thought that they counted the vote, but then they're waiting for someplace else who's leading in Manila, and then they'll dagdag bawas in the provinces, and everybody's falling asleep, and that's they start fooling around. Even the machine, they say, oh, they're gonna sell their votes now. They now have paper. I said, well, when was the last time you heard anybody caught selling their votes? Mabuti nga ngayon may papel. Kung pinayagan nyo, if you allow the paper to be taken out, and you have a TV camera, or you have a cell phone, or you have a CCTV, you can catch the guy, and now you have proof because you have a paper that you saw the money change hands and the other guy is holding the paper, and you can prove that. But I was willing to say, all right, leave the paper in the ballot box, not in the ballot box, but in the receipts box. So if you have that's good enough for me. But
for now.
For now.
Yeah. There's a popular show in the US called Scandal.
Yeah.
Olivia Pope.
Yeah.
And I think in one of the, I don't know, second or third season, that was the topic. And I mean, that was the whole, the entire season revolved around automated elections in the US and cheating.
And they showed how it was done, right?
Somehow. And the machines look a lot like our own people's machines.
In fact, you know, if you look at the terms of reference, it says you have to have a voter verified paper audit trail. You know, you can count the vote, you can have a receipt. And when you look at the machine, it has a receptacle where the paper comes out. It has the paper load. So, you know, they follow it. But they can be sued for a graft because when they specify something and they cannot deliver the demands of the machine and pursue the terms of reference, then we have been fooled by these people.
So, some people, there was like there were conspiracy theories in 2013. I'd like to ask for your opinion that it's possible for, let's say, some political parties invested in high-tech jamming and device, like they look like BlackBerry phones, but they can actually jam the signal of the PCOS before it transmits, and then replace that signal with their own results. Is that possible?
I don't think it's possible nowadays. In fact, they have a machine that can send to all the cell phones in a particular town, in a particular area. And you put it in a car and you just send a message and it'll do that and can listen to your conversation. So nowadays, it's not even safe for you to talk on the phone or to send messages. You should do it through Viber or you should send it through iMessenger.
iMessenger.
So the technology is so bad. You can see that even banks are being hacked.
True.
And you remember?
Bangladesh.
Yeah, Bangladesh got that.
and we're the recipients.
yeah. So I guess it's called concupiscence. Man has a tendency towards evil because of Adam and Eve. All right, and so therefore you have to trust but verify. So the attitude must be not one of apathy, but one of really assertiveness.
So Senator Gordon, I'd like to go to a very specific issue that relates to you. Some people are of the opinion that you lost in 2010 and then you lost in 2013 because you are perceived to be, and I think you are, a very intellectual, cerebral leader. And I don't know if you're familiar. There's on social media there was something that went viral a few weeks ago about smart shaming. There is a culture of smart shaming. Those who are intellectual
should be shamed.
Should
be taught a
they're
lesson.
not very popular. Like for example, President Arroyo, very academic. She's PhD in economics, and she does not have...
I don't think it's a reflection on the smart ones. It's a reflection on the stupid ones.
I know, but that's right. So, but do you believe?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think people respect
smart people.
Smart people.
Because that article made a very good case for smart shaming, especially in the Philippines. It happens in the U.S. also, but also in the Philippines.
Either you have a gargantuan inferiority complex, feeling of inferiority, or you're just plain stupid.
Well, let's talk more because we have to pause for this short break. Open mic, we'll be right back with Senator Richard Gordon. We're back here in Open Mic with Senator Richard Gordon. Sir, so we were talking about smart shaming. You don't believe that there is that culture, that people are intimidated. Generally, people are intimidated by smart leaders because in the Philippines, most of our leaders are not. No, I mean.
I don't think so. I think we have a lot of good leaders. It's just that
they're not. But the smart ones are not. They don't really get as much popular support.
I don't think so. It's just Miriam Santiago is overly smart. Too smart.
But because she's a character.
Okay, then you're talking about entertainment then.
Yeah, and
people like to be entertained. If that is the standard upon which we're going to base our government's performance, then you can see why a smart country like Singapore, small city-state where you can put 44 Singapores inside Cebu, beats this entire country of 100 million Filipinos, has a higher per capita income, and is the first world country of Asia. That's a shame, isn't it? That's the real shame.
Sure. So you don't think it had anything to do? You're being smart?
No, I
had nothing to do with.
Well, first it was a stab in the dark when I ran for the presidency. Me and Bayani Fernandez. More of a protest that we did that. Remember, I was on my first term.
Yes.
You say I was ambitious?
Yeah. 2004.
I've always encouraged ambition on my staff. I mean, after all, I think my record speaks for itself. You aim high. And if you have the work ethic, and if you believe that you have the work ethic, and you think smart, you should be a very inadequate leader.
You started young yourself. You were in the student council.
I was in the student council, but I was also the youngest delegate at the Constitutional Convention while still a student.
In 1971.
Of law school, yeah. So, you dare, and I don't think I lost because I was smart. I don't even believe I was smart. I'm just a hard worker. I just very assertive.
But you did very well as a Department of Tourism Secretary. Wow, Philippines.
Well,
probably the best remembered campaign in
and you didn't even have to pay for it. Unlike the new ads that you have to pay for it, you paid for it. Now I remember I was in Procter & Gamble and I did Safeguard and I did all these big products there. and uh, it's got nothing to do with being smart. It's just that maybe the message wasn't well communicated. Maybe the message at that time was he doesn't have any money, he doesn't have a chance. Maybe the media has something to do with it because they rely on surveys. I mean, the surveys right now, I don't brag about it because I don't really believe it. I mean, to me,
But you're well within the winning
we're
circle.
well within the winning circle. But you see, when you're in a political campaign, you know that people pay for surveys. And you know, I did surveys while I was in Procter and Gamble. We don't show our surveys
True.
to try to influence the people.
True. It's
But
something you use for
surveys can influence the people. So people say, oh, dito na tayo mananalo ito. This guy's gonna win. Makakadaog ito. Di ba? Oh, pero if you do that, in the end, after 6 years, nakadaog ka ba o natalo ka na perde ka? Di ba? In reality, you lost. So that is one of the things Mike, as a young leader of this country, as a young, not a talk show host, but a man who tries to get ideas from your guests,
True.
you should propagate. You should challenge the Filipino that it is the most suitable candidate, the most qualified candidate that will help change the country.
After 6 years of...
And if that's the case, Marcos would never have won. Because Marcos was brilliant. One of the most brilliant men. Diosdado Macapagal got 100% in civil law. And he was president. So, smart people win.
But I think because in the last several years, some people have made it clear that those who were very smart that we elected into office supposedly pilfered, and plundered our country. So now they're more open to
No, I don't think that's the reason.
inexperience. No, but that's an argument people try to
If that's the case,
propose.
then the Supreme Court, which is a court of very, very smart lawyers, are they plundering the country?
No, those that we elect. Those that we elect.
No,
Those that we elect.
even those that you elect, maybe Miriam plundered the country. Or maybe, Drilon is pretty smart. Is he guilty of plunder as well?
But that's the argument that some sectors
Well,
propose.
don't believe.
I don't because that's why I like Ipasok Sidik.
I would like to think that I'm always responsible for what I say or do, that I'm trying to reach out to the people there. That, hey, don't believe the values of the group. Follow your own values because individual values are always higher than that of the group. That's why it's called peer pressure. You're not going to smoke, but if you're in a group, bang. If you go with the good guys, you don't know your algebra, you don't know your math. I used to go with the guys who were bright in math because they could help me, and the guys that were weak in history would go to me.
That's true.
And that's what I am trying to teach here. If we keep talking about the smart ones are never going to get elected, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that will be
God
bad for our
forbid.
country.
God forbid.
That will be a bad thing for our country.
But maybe it's good to talk about it so that we prevent it from happening.
Maybe it's good to say, I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. René Descartes.
But Senator Gordon, would you agree that the last 6 years has been a showcase of mediocrity?
That's a very tame statement.
I was trying to be tame.
Well, when your trains, look, I'll give you an example. Oh, smart beto. We had a train here in Cebu
Yes.
from Argao to Danao. Where is it?
It's not there anymore. I
It
know
was
where
done before
it
the
passed
war.
through where Elizabeth Mall is, ACT.
Alright. We had a
that's where
train
the
that
train
went
tracks were.
from Tutuban, which was built in Manila in 1887 and was finished in 1891, 200 kilometers to the Gupan. That's even before Rizal was executed. 1891, it was finished. It was done. In the movie, they even saw Luna using the train.
Yes.
All great countries have trains. The U.S. built their train in 1862 to 1868,
Vanderbilt.
right? And you have Japan, their trains are there.
Shinkansen.
Shinkansen, Maglev. The Philippines is the only country that lost its train. And that's why perhaps your rice is expensive. That's why perhaps you have traffic. That's why perhaps industry has not gone to the countryside. Could that be? That's what you want to make people believe and think. Because infrastructure, transportation is one of the weakest things that this administration did. And I only say that because MRT, I'm going to be mischievous, the Mar Rojas train, when he was Department of Transportation. 16.5 kilometers of straight track.
That's it.
6 years. And people suffer riding that train. Fair or not? See? So you call it mediocrity? No, I call it the height of negligence, dereliction of duty, no devotion to the public service.
No vision.
Oh, let's put it this way. The other day, there was a big brownout in Manila,
Naiya.
International Airport. What do you think it does to people like me who work so hard to get WOW Philippines going? Or even the guys who say more fun in Switzerland, we say copied from Switzerland in 1952. You see, if you Google our slogan right now, it's more fun in Switzerland, it's Philippines.
It's plagiarized.
Correct. It's more fun in Switzerland was the tourism ad of Switzerland in the 1950s.
Good God.
Easily, you can Google it
So
now.
not only is this a showcase of incompetence, mediocrity, it's also a showcase of credit grabbing.
Yes, and,
because,
and they say...
because they grab credit also from the
and they
economic
say-
gains of Arroyo.
And when you see our people killed, farmers who are hungry, killed, I'm not being simplistic. In fact, I've been fair. I said, you know, we could have anticipated the fact that there was going to be a big drought because of El Nino. People are going to be hungry, it's going to be dry, they cannot plant, and the government should have anticipated it. To me, it shows that the government did not anticipate well. And they could have anticipated that it was going to be exploited, as I think it was. Go there, you're going to get a cabana price. And what happened to our millions of intelligence that are invested in the budget for military intelligence? They could have known that, right? And they could have, the national government could have said right away, don't believe that, please. We're going to bring you, the rice that you need, and we're going to take care of our people. And they did not. And then poorly trained policemen overreacted and killed 2 people and wounded so many people. Now, whether or not they were stoned, abused by the people, there's no excuse for shooting at unarmed civilians.
Exactly.
That's what happened in Russia. That started the revolution in Russia.
And
So it's important that
most revolutions.
when you say that the last hour, no, I'll give credit where credit is due. I give credit in terms of at least there is some movement in the military now to have better weaponry. But on the other hand, it's like the fiddler on the roof. On the other hand, you have to make so many people who are poor, but still trying to be rich either. It's good to be poor, but Montevio says that. But when you look at that, although you are able to get now a little bit more of Air Force from Korea, and it's just a trainer Air Force. When you look at the helicopters that they recently bought, I think 28 of them, at a cost, at an overprice of over $1 million, which they could have gotten for $700,000. These are rebuilt helicopters. None of them flew. Practically
outrageous.
only one flew.
Oh my God.
And nobody's talking about it. So what happened
So
to
how can you give credit naman to them? You say you give
Well,
credit where credit is due.
I'm giving credit where credit is due. They have credit
They bought it.
for being
bought
insolent, for being practically negligent, for dereliction of duty,
Buying helicopters
for,
that don't fly.
for fraud, for waste, for abuse. I don't use corruption. I say fraud, waste, abuse.
So if you were to identify yourself, just 2 things, no? Pro Pinoy or anti-Pinoy, if you have to choose, what are you?
I'm not anti-Pinoy. I'm pro-Philippines, but I think
But if you have to choose between
they have a
those two,
failing grade, miserable failing grade. That doesn't make me anti-Pinoy. Because it's my duty as a Filipino to help make them succeed. Right?
Yes.
Everybody should try to make the administration or the mayor or whoever they succeed. But it is also the duty of Filipinos like us to make sure when they're not doing their job, to expose it for what it is.
that
To
is-
remove the masquerade, to remove the mask. And that's what the problem here in our country is. Oh, it's too big. Oh, it's futile. Don't fight them. You're going to lose in the Supreme Court. Don't even try to run.
defeatist, no?
Yeah, it's a
very
defeatist culture.
mentality. Yeah.
And you cannot do that. You cannot build a train. It's too expensive. You cannot build ships. You have a shipping industry here in Cebu. Why can't we have, a literal fleet of patrol boats that can help patrol against the smuggling of drugs in our country, the smuggling of meat in our country, the smuggling of oil in our country?
I remember you talk about trades. I remember when I was still in government in 2007,
Yeah.
2008, I sat in the Regional Development Council.
Right.
I'm not national, but I would sit in the RDC here once in a while, and we were talking about the prospects of a single line. No, I think if I remember it correctly, it was from Danao up north down to maybe Karkar
Yeah.
in the south. That's one line
Yeah.
train, which would have decentralized Cebu City, and for everyone else who
Decongest Cebu
Yes.
City,
decongest.
distribute industry all the way up to Bogo, maybe put up another airport in Bogo.
And it would have been nice if we had another line in Mandaue that connects to the airport,
Correct.
so that people don't have to pass
City.
through the city
In
with their
Central
cars.
Luzon, it will be decongest. In Luzon, it decongest Manila. You have a seaport in Batangas. Convert the airport, Air Force Base in Fernando Aviation Lipa to a cargo airport, so that you now have an airport, a seaport, and road connectivity. And then make Subic and Clark work. Subic Sport, Subic Airport, and Clark Airport. And in between, the highway and the railroad, you could bring in decongest industry. I'll give you an incentive if you build your factory outside of Cebu. I'll
That's
give you
true.
an incentive if you give your.
That would have been Pilipinas kaganda. Let's talk more about that, Senator Gordon, but we have
yeah.
to pause for this short
Sure.
break. Back here in Open Mic for our final segment with Senator Richard Gordon. So we're talking about all these plans, which would have been possible, no, if this current administration made the most out of our growing economy. But I think they did
The
not.
growing economy
they
occurred
did
first
not,
and foremost
invest.
because hard decisions were made by the previous administration.
PGMA,
VAT.
that.
That's very unpopular.
And it
But
cost some government, some politicians
to lose
their jobs.
Yeah, but nonetheless, now they have money.
Yes.
The budget is more.
And
you
the
know,
and the economy in the previous administration,
it never fell.
38 quarters,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, of
It didn't grow
uninterrupted
dramatically, but
economic
it
growth.
never went down.
Yes, that's true.
It went up, but
Steadily.
not steadily.
Yeah.
But remember also that the previous administrations also sent people to find their future abroad, and they're now bringing dollars back. Remember also that Gloria Macapagal Arroyo started a BPO.
Yes, not Marojas.
That's right, that's right.
He's not the ama ng BPO.
Yeah, that's
In
right.
fact, what I know is, in the proposal of Bobby Romulo and the ICT people of Ayala in the early Arroyo years,
Yeah.
he opposed it.
He even opposed the creation of CICT.
He opposed, Marojas opposed it, so how can he now be the ama ng BPO?
Don't worry, we'll forgive him.
You can, I won't. After the elections, I will.
But I'll tell you, I mean, to the credit of this administration, it gave the perception that they were
The perception.
going after graft and corruption.
The perception.
But on the other hand, at a cost, at a terrific cost, they were violating the rights of people, violating the law, producing evidence that was stolen, etc., etc.
And even the UN has already ruled on
Right,
that.
right. Well, I'm not siding with that, but to me, when you say you can bring in your dollars here, Marco said that, put it in a bank, and then all of a sudden you use that bank and you open it and you give the evidence, then nobody's going to believe us anymore. See, a lot of dollars are abroad, and you want to bring them back here. So, to my mind, that was one of the reasons why I didn't like that. No? But upon the other hand, also peace and order has suffered also dramatically. Transportation has suffered.
Because of the inability to invest in infrastructure.
Well, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo has
not
already
inability.
built that train going to Clark. You still have the post hanging there. They should have continued it. Laguna de Bay could be Geneva Lake. You deepen it, and you have you can create a master plan where you have my law on tourism has not been implemented, which is
Tiesa.
which would allow people to invest in hotels with no tax for the first 6 years and a final tax.
But I think
for
the Philippine Arena availed of that, right?
No, they were not able to
They
allow
were
it.
not able- oh.
That's why they were fighting against the government for a while.
Oh, I thought they were
Yeah,
able
that's
to
right.
avail.
And so that's really sad. So on the other hand, we have become the number one in terms of
And the
journalists
DOT
being killed.
But going back, I'm so sorry, Senator. But speaking of tourism, because I worked in the hospitality industry for a while, I know that the DOT now has taken the cudgels, in rating resorts giving them stars.
That's by law, and I regret that because what happened is it has become a vehicle for
Because other
even
countries,
Grab.
they don't do it anymore, right?
They don't do it anymore because you have all kinds of.
Is that something you will promise to fight when you're in the Senate?
Oh yeah, definitely. I will probably. I don't have to fight it because I created it. It's my mistake. I own up to my mistake because at that time it was
That's
good.
leadership,
It was good to rate hotels, but now you want
Being
the public
used.
who use it to rate it.
Yes.
The law should be implemented, but what's more important is create opportunities. Our foreign direct investment is third to the lowest. I'm sorry, I'm not being negative. It's just that we have to open our eyes to the fact that Singapore has a full employment economy, and they pay their teachers well at $133,000 a month, while we pay our teachers a meager $18,000 a month, and that means that their per capita income is up $83,000 against our $7,000. So we remain poor, and if you compare us with the other countries, it's the same ball game. So what is important, therefore, is for us to act. First, you have to do unity. You cannot govern by looking back and and not finishing the case. When you have a case, you have to have the complete evidence. It must be fast. Otherwise, it will become a source of it's an infection. It's an infection.
Yeah, justice denied.
And then, of course, at the same time, you don't want a situation where people have to hold the knife by the blade, which means there is a lot of clamor against contractual hiring. And we're always asked that question. Why is that? Because there are no jobs. Why is there complaints about pension? Why? Because there are no jobs. The more jobs you have, the more contributions in pensions, in SSS you'll have. But if you're no jobs and you're hiring contractuals and they're not getting SSS, di lagot na rin yung mga tao.
So that's why we have to elect smart people who can come up with smart and strategic solutions. But at the same time, because sometimes it's the smart people who come up with simple solutions. We're talking about peace and order, Senator.
Oh, let's put the peace and order. How many people have been killed? You know, we are rated as having the highest number of journalists killed. You know, even the ACDC ones. But at the same time, you have judges being killed. When you kill a judge, that means the criminal is saying, you can't touch me. And they ride motorcycles, and nobody has ever solved
We're
it.
like Gotham City now.
Right. So how do you solve it? Napakasimple lang. Do you have to be smart? Do you have to have a PhD? You know that a motorcycle has very small plates if they have them. Sometimes they don't even use them. And you have cops that should enforce them. And if these plates are small, and they say there's a gun ban, if there's a gun ban, how come that Laguna mayor was shot the other day? See what I mean? So, lack of enforcement. But you want to take a bite out of crime? Well, you see the motorcycles are very small plate numbers. How about that? How about that? Your plate number is now
Big and
very
bold.
big. This is done in Hong Kong. This is done in other parts of the world. And they cannot use the motorcycle. Obviously, the motorcycle is a fast way to escape. And if you make all the
What if they
motorcycle,
remove it right before and
then
then...
they're arrested right away. Then the cops are told that. And you give a bigger stick to the local government that all these plates must be registered in the local government, and they will know the address so that if it is used there, or it has a certain color, you can even put color code there so that you know that it comes from this province, so that right away you can limit the suspects.
What about, Senator, what if I wanted to kill someone and then I had a registered motorcycle, but then I just copy it. I come up with a different design, a different, a similar, no, same design but different set of numbers, and then
You
I can just...
still have the safety, the helmet, which you can put a number there. If you don't like that number,
But what if I just make up,
like if you make it the
like a
simple.
white collar criminal can
In
come up
Subic,
with...
and I'll tell you, I did simple things. We had crime all over. My father was assassinated
Yes.
by and the guy rode a tricycle to escape. We were lucky that he was seen. They didn't get plate number. So when I became mayor, I put big body numbers on the tricycles. Drivers had to wear a uniform with the name in the back. And they had to have their picture taken, and the owner of the tricycle has to register it, and you know the address. Same thing with jeepneys. Yellow Jeep on the main road, blue Jeep on the area going to the coastline, green Jeep going to the market, brown Jeep going to the mountain, big body number. No crime! No crime! We took you say brown 345. Brown Jeep is owned by Mr. Castro. He lives in Old Cabalan. Right away,
I remember, speaking of your term there in Subic, I remember that you were at odds with then Vice President Estrada
Oh,
because
yeah.
you scolded him for was that for smoking?
I picked up his cigarette butt. And so,
and then he replaced you
well,
Is
that
that
was
right?
the first act he made.
when he became president.
Yeah, because I picked it up. He was doing it in front of everybody, and I picked it up. And I said, in spite of the fact that we're having a hard time in Mount Pinatubo, well, we're friends again. But I wasn't trying to insult him.
But
I
you were
did-
doing your job.
I did the same thing with Winnie Monson.
Why she also?
She threw his cigarette butt on at the public high school. I said, Winnie, you're my sis. You do that one more time, and I'll fine you, and you're not going to smoke anymore.
That's shocking that Tita Winnie would just throw her cigarette
Come on,
wherever.
people do certain things without thinking sometimes. I'm not trying to insult Winnie or embarrass her. She's a good friend of mine. But I did that also with the Deputy Chief of Mission of the
Tita
U.S.
Winnie,
Embassy.
bawal lang pasaway, Tita Winnie.
Deputy Chief of Mission of the U.S. Embassy.
Ah, really?
Yeah, I had to pick up a cigarette and I just kept wearing it and put it in the suit.
We're,
Maybe that's why people think I'm so strict or something like that, but I do that.
we're the same. I did that to my friend Francis here. We don't have that here. I'm not mayor, but
And when you're talking and somebody, you're being invited to go to a speech and people are, chatting and chatting. I said, please do not talk while I'm interrupting. There's got to be an accepted code of behavior for everyone. And as a senator, I always keep my oath of office on my desk. So if you're forgetting that, sometimes I take it out and
because sometimes you forget.
and make a few quotes
Because sometimes you forget.
about
right?
it,
Yes,
And it's just like, you're an executive, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you take an oath. But do we follow the oath? So that's why I said, what this country needs is not just a change of men, but a change in men. We have to change our whole attitude about our country. We claim we love our country, but we love ourselves more than our country.
That's true.
And that's it. Somebody's got to.
The elections are just but a beginning,
Yeah, elections don't change things. Federal government is nice. We have to examine it. We have to educate it. We have to learn it. It's not all bravura that when you stand up against China, you have to be realistic and say, oh, you cannot fight them now. Finland fought against Soviet Union during World War II.
Senator, I'm curious. What if you were in the presidential debate and I was Mayor Duterte and you were Senator Grace Poe, and I asked you the first 3 things you will do if, in the middle of the night, you're awoken and you're told that China blasted our 2 Coast Guard ships.
Oh,
First 3 things you will do.
I would not. First, I would have had a plan to do that. I would have had good intelligence right away. And say if they're doing that, I would have already sent our whatever is left with our Navy out there, and we would return fire. We have to, otherwise nobody will ever. Everybody will walk all over us.
But what if we really violated and we crossed into their territory?
How can we violate? That's considered our territory.
Or what if we
It's just
went
like-
further?
Remember this: Luxembourg and Belgium were neutral countries, and twice in the 2 world wars, Germany did not respect their neutrality, and they walked all over them. And the governments of the free world at that time had to get together and fight back. If you are phlegmatic, if you are not going to assert yourself, you're not going to be a respectable nation. That's why you have to assert your independence. And that's why it behooves you to right away, you must make sure that you have an alliance. These things happen. You have to have an alliance. Like if you ask me Yolanda is coming, I would have sent a message already, and I can prove that, to all the chapters of the Red Cross and say it's going to be bad. Do you have a continuity plan? Move your family so that you can concentrate on your job. That's our duty. Move your family to a safe place, etc., etc. Same banana. You have to look ahead. You need men of vision, men of
Foresight.
good values, so that they will be good leaders, so that they can be followed. And you need to be forward-looking. And I have 5 Fs: focus, fast, friendly, flexible, forward-looking.
We're about to close. We're about to end. Unfortunately, it's all the time we have. But Senator, your parting shot, and before your parting shot, the top 3 hot button topics for this election
That
that you think will affect this election.
Oh, well, number 1, you've got to, the 3 hot topics would be choose the most prepared for the leadership role.
Okay.
You have to have men of leadership, results, integrity. That's my personal code.
All right.
All right. Second, it covers everything already as far as I'm concerned. And you were talking to me. What was the other question we're gonna ask?
Well, the hot button topics and
Oh,
3 hot button, and then
to vote, you have to know that this guy is a leader, or this girl is a leader, or she can do results and she can prove it. That's why it's important that you don't listen to the 30-second ads alone. You have to have a town hall meeting like this one. You can ask me, how are you going to implement it? I just showed you. Peace and order.
Yeah.
I just showed you. If we paid our teachers more, instead of 18,000, you do 24,000 next year, 36,000 the next year, 50,000 the fourth year, and by that time you make 80,000. Whether you just say we're going to do that, and I bet you outstanding teachers are going to come in. You're probably going to teach it because you're the type that will want to uplift people. And when you do that, the next 2 decades, children will grow up
will be
outstanding.
a better generation.
See, so it doesn't happen. There's no quickie, no quick fixes.
No quickie for ipasok si Dick.
Oh, no. Even getting married, it's hard enough to be in love and be married. Worse when you're not in love and be married.
So your final message,
That's
Senator.
yeah, that's what I said. It's hard enough to love your country and then elect somebody who's not qualified. It's hard enough to love your country and find out that you don't really measure up to your own standards of discipline.
Yeah.
All right. So it's important that my parting shot would be, again, I repeat, what this country needs is not just a change of men, but a change in men. Baguhin natin ang ugali natin. Sense of country, elect men of vision, elect men of values, and people who are able to have kusang loob, malasakit, at kapwa-tao.
All right. Thank you, Senator Gordon.
You're welcome.
So don't forget,
even the smart
I'm going to
ones.
vote for you. I'm definitely going to vote for this guy. In a month from now, we will be electing our leaders from president, senator, down to the local government officials. And I will surely not just make it a hashtag, but I will make it my mission to ipasok si Dick. Yes. So that has been our show for tonight. I'm Mike Lopez. Good night and Godspeed.